So the very first thing that you need to do is trim out your template and then lay your template on your chipboard sheet and then cut it out. Then go ahead and you're going to need two of these, one for the front and one for the back. Go ahead and cut your pages, your page template out, and then use it on your white cardstock to cut out, I think I cut 6 pages. Let's see. Yeah, 6 pages. I think all 6 is going to fit in our album. So do that. Once you get that done, then we'll start putting the album together. Okay, now before I do very much at all, I'm going to ink my pages, and the reason I'm going to ink them is because some of these I cut by hand, and if you don't cut exactly straight, you can use your ink, and it will look just like you cut it perfectly. So I'm going to ink mine up. I'm inking my chipboard. I am going to use a cover on this, some of our paper for a mat. But I'm just inking around the edges because the mat's not going to go all the way to the end or all the way to the edge. So I'm just going to ink my front and back on both sides. And I'm just using some vintage photo to do this with. And I'm coming in just a little bit so that when I put my mat down there, it's going to be a very dark edge. And that's what I want. It looks better than the chipboard. And then I just go around the edges flat with my little tool and make sure that I get all of these edges inked up too. So I'm going to do the front and the back. Then we'll come back and do the pages. Okay, so there are our chipboard pieces inked up. Now this is the little piece for the inside to attach the front and the back and then attach the pages on. And I'm going to ink part of it up. All of it's not going to show. I'm just going to ink a little bit on the edges, on each edge like that. And this piece is cut at 4 by 2.5. And if you lay your front and back on your chipboard correctly, then you'll have a strip of chipboard left that you can cut this out of. 4 by 2.5, and then you're going to score at 1 inch from either end on the 4-inch side. So see, there's my score lines. It's going to look like that. Now you can do these pages one of 2 ways, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay these down on my paper pad. So you can lay it down on your paper pad like this, and you can trim around it, and you can just cover this whole sheet if you want to do that. I think that's what I'm going to do, cover the whole sheet, and then I won't have to ink the edges until afterwards. So I think that might be what I am going to do on this. You can do it either way, or you can cut your mat just a little bit smaller than this and put the mat on like that. But I think it's going to be easier to take my pencil and trace these and then just trim this out, because you're going to need one for the front and the back. Now you will have to look at this template, because this template is one that I drew out, and both of these sides are not exactly the same. So like this paper will go on this way, but if you wanted it to go on that way, you see it's not going to fit. It's going to have some extra there. I'm not perfect. I couldn't draw perfect. But anyway, just decide which one you want to be your top side and just cut it that way. So you see I've got that one, which all this paper is pretty. It doesn't matter. Alright, so I'm going to lay my covers aside. Just going to put those right over there so I'll know where they are. And now I'm going to show you how I'm attaching these pages. This is a hinge system. I haven't seen it out there anywhere before. I don't know if anybody has done it, but we're going to do it here. This will be the first time that I've done it on my channel anyway. So you're going to need a little piece of paper, and as you can see, I'm using scraps because none of this hinge, except this little white part right here, is all that's going to show in your album when we finish. But it's going to need to be 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. And on the 1 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 of an inch, and that's going to be your fold. If you have something written on like mine right there, just make sure that's on the outside. So the way these are going to go together is just like this. You're going to put that on the inside. You're going to put this little flap on the inside of your page, just like that. Just kind of centering it up between here and here. And then make sure that the edge of this page comes up to that score line. Now I've already put a few together, so once you get a few put together, what you need to do is lay this one down on top of that one, just like that. And then I go ahead and I attach this side down to here, and I attach it just as straight as I can with that other one. And then while this is laying on there, I go ahead and attach that one just so that I can look and get my edges even. See what I mean? If you attach it like that, then you can look at your edges and make sure everything is kind of even. Now I know the way mine's laying right now, it's not going to look even, but it is. So let's attach it down to this part first. So all I'm doing is I'm putting that little fold on the inside. I'm making sure that I'm coming out to the edge with my score line, out to the edge of the page, and then I'm pressing that down. So there is our hinge, and you can see there are my other hinges. These need to be as straight and as flush to the edge of that sheet as possible, to the edge of the page. So just like that. And then we can go ahead and put, I'm just going to press it down like that, and we can go ahead and put some glue up here on this part, the 1/2 inch part. And then you're going to make sure that you're putting your hinges on the opposite side of your chimney. Our chimney is over here, our hinges go over here. So while you're holding that down, and while you get your page just as straight with the other one as you can, lay it up there, just kind of evening it up at the bottom. If you make sure this bottom is straight, then the rest of it should fall right in place. I'm going to scooch that on in just a little bit more. There we go. And now when you open that up, there we have our little hinges. Don't worry if some of them are longer than the other one, like mine look. This is all going to be covered right here. So you see there are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. You've got 1/4 inch between each page to do your embellishing and all of that. So we got that. And we're going to put one more on here. We're going to do it the same way. So there's the way we're going to lay it right there. Here's my other hinge. Matter of fact, I have 2 more. There's my hinge right there. I'm going to put the part that's written on the outside, the clean part on the inside. And what I call the inside, that's this way. So see, this is going to be your inside, because that little white strip right there is going to show on the inside of your album. Unless you covered it with something. You could always cover it with paper or whatever. Alright, I am just going to lay this one down right out to the edge of my page. I'm going to take that score line right out to the edge. See if you can hold it up and you can see. So there's my score line right there, and I took it right to the edge of my page. And then here is my other score line right there. So I'm going to put some glue on that one, on that 1/2 inch part, making sure that my chimney is on this side. And then I'm going to lay this one down on top of it, matching up the score line to the edge of the paper. I'm trying to keep my hand and my head and everything else out of the way. I'm making sure that the bottom runs flush. And then I'm going to press that down. Alright, so there we go. There's your hinge for all of your pages. These will open up nicely. As you can see, you can flip through them. And see, that little piece right there is all that's going to show, because when we cover... Let me see. When we cover these sheets, we're going to be covering up this part where it went together. Just that little white piece is all that's going to show. So that's why it's important to attach your hinges before you put your mats on. So see, all of my pages is just a flip through. Just like that. Okay, so there are my 6 pages. Now what I'm going to do is take my little, this is my template for the spine attachment. I'm going to take that and I'm going to sit this down in there and see if it looks about right. It looks perfect. Just like that. So see, my front and back cover is going to go on here. Okay, now what you're going to do on this piece right here, and I told you this piece is 4 inches by 2.5. You're going to score at 1, and then you're going to score at, let's see, you'll score at 1, and then you'll score at 3. So that gives you a 1 inch on each end. Then from that score line in, you're going to mark 1/4 of an inch. So from the score line here to here, 1/4. And then from this score line right here to here is 1/4. This part right here is where this hinge is going to sit, right in there. So what we need to do is we need to put some score tape down there. So I'm going to run score tape right down the edge of that. And make sure that you put plenty. Don't just, and you can do this with wet glue if you want. I'm going to put wet glue on top of my score tape probably. Just so that I can get a good adhesion and I'll have time to move it around just a little bit. Now I'm going to run some art glitter glue on top of this score tape. That will give me a little bit of wiggle room. There we go. And then I'm just going to take these and even my pages up as best I can. Like that. Holding them nice and tight. And then I'm going to stand this up. I think it'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to lay this in there right on that 1/4 inch score line. Okay, we have that back one on that score line. And now we're just going to fold this out and put this front one over here on that score line. And then put this one on that other 1/4 inch score mark. And then try to press them all down. I'm going to go in the center here and try to press these down, while I'm trying to hold it as even as possible. Okay, so there are my pages glued into my spine piece. And now this spine piece is going to glue just like that to the outside cover. So we're going to put some glue right here, and I think I'm going to use my score tape again and then some art glitter glue on top of it. Okay, now this piece, it doesn't really matter which way you put it, but you want to make sure that you match up the front and the back. As I told you, one way it doesn't exactly work. Like if you turn it this way, you see the front and the back is going to be just a little bit off. See my points right here on that one and over here on that one. But if you just make sure that you turn them both the same way, just like that, then that's going to be my back. I'm going to lay it in there that way. And then this is going to be the front that needs to lay this way. Now all I'm going to do is lay this down. I'm going to try to even up the bottom. So I may just stand it up. Let's see if that works. I'm going to put some glue on here first. I'm going to try to stand mine up and put it on there. Make sure that you bring your edge of your chipboard right to that spine piece right there, and then that the bottoms are pretty much even. That looks pretty good right there. I'm just going to look on the inside and make sure that it looks pretty good before I press it down. Okay, that looks good to me. So there's the front cover. We're going to do the back the same way. Okay, So we're going to lay this one down just exactly like we did that one on the front. I'm going to stand it up. Just make sure that it comes to the edge of the chipboard and the score mark on there. So there is our front and back, and then here's our little pages. I wanted the chimney to be on the pages and not necessarily on the front and the back, so that's why I did it that way. But isn't that cute already? And now it's a matter of covering our pages. Now I've already got my front and back. I'm going to let this be the front, I think. I like that. Just like that. So we're going to put some art glitter glue on here. Make sure that you run, if you're doing the mats like I am, make sure that you run your art glitter glue all the way out to the edges. And then you're going to lay that down on there. And it wouldn't hurt to do a dry fit on these pages just to make sure before you glue it down that you have got your pages cut the same way as your cover is. Like I said, one side of this is a little bit longer than the other side. So that, isn't that cute? That fits perfect right there. And now we're going to cover the inside. And see, once we cover this, that piece of chipboard is going to be covered up. So that one doesn't fit that way, but it fits that way. So I think we're going to put that one down right there. It's going to cover all of this except that little bitty piece of spine right there. Now I'm taking my ink blending tool and I'm going back over the front and the back of this on the paper part, just because I don't want that white core showing on my paper. So I'm just going back over the edges, covering those up. There we go. Right, so there is our front cover on. Let's put this first page down so we can see how that chimney is going to look sticking up there. Let's see, we've got that for the front. Oh, I think this one might look good in there. Let's see. So I think we're going to use this one on the inside right here because I like how it pulls that red or burgundy, whatever color you want to call it, out. I think that's neat. Okay, again, we're going to take our blending tool and I'm going to go around the edges to cover up that white core. And it also covers any mistakes in cutting that I might have made. There we go. There's our first page, the front finished. Now we need to put something right here. See what we got. Oh yeah, that'll be cute. Let's put that one there. And once again with our blending tool, cover up those white edges. I don't know if anybody else likes to ink as much as I do, but I love inking the edges of my paper. It just seems to finish off an album. Alright, then we can go ahead and finish the rest of our pages. I think that one will go there. And let's see. We need one to go here. That's cute. We'll put that one there. And then we need, and this one will go on this side. And then I need to cut, let's see, 1, 2, 6 more sheets. That's what I need to cut. So we're going to flip it on over. I'm going to leave those laid in there. I'm going to go ahead and do the back. Make sure that I get this laid the correct way. I think that's going to be fine right there. And then let's see which one we want for the back. Back. Oh, I like that. I like the, that looks like siding or wood on a house. I like that part. So let's put this down for the front and the back. There we go. And then this one will go back here. Like that. Cute. I like both sides of this paper, but I'm glad there's more than one design of the same sheet. Now let's go ahead and put a little bit of ink around the edges here to cover this up. Cover that white up. So that is how it's looking so far. Isn't that cute? All right, I'm going to go ahead and cover the remaining pages that I have in here, and then we will start embellishing. And we will cut a piece to go on here to cover the spine. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and we'll start embellishing. Okay, your little spine piece is 2 by 2.5. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of ink on here. And then I'm going to put it down. All right. So there is my spine, my front and back cover. Isn't that cute? I like that. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, and now all I need to do is finish covering the other sheets that are in here. And as you can see, I use some scrap paper to make my sheets too, because these are going to be completely covered up with our paper. So it doesn't matter. Just grab out your scraps and cut your pages out. So I'm going to cut 6 more mats for those pages, and then we will be ready to start embellishing this album. Now, I may do the second part, the embellishing, tomorrow, because it's already getting kind of late here today, so it's about time for me to start dinner. But we will start embellishing this tomorrow, and I'll have photos printed, and I'll put my photos in here and show you how I'm going to display this on our coffee table in the living room for our guest. All right, guys, stay tuned for part 2. That will be coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, and we will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you are in the eClub kit, you will have this template in your kit. Or you can go over to the link that I will post below. It will be password protected, so only eClub Kit members will have that password to get in there to copy the SVG or the PDF. So if you are a member and you're not a member of our group where you can get your password, make sure that you go over and join our eClub Kit members room. That group is linked below. If you're not an eClub Kit member and you want to be, that link is linked below, and I think for December we have about 7 kits left. So that is right before this video went up. I haven't checked since I started putting this video up. So if you want a kit, you can do that. If you want just the template, the SVG or PDF for this, I have an email below. You can email me and ask me for the template and the PDF, and I will send you a link where you can purchase that if you want to. And I hope you stay around for part 2 and the completion of this cute little album. We will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up if you like videos like this. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.